Welcome back to another episode of the Even Your Dynasty Show. San Francisco Giants complete a 4-run comeback for the second consecutive day to win 7-6, taking 2 of 3 from Pittsburgh. They followed up probably their worst loss of the season with their 2 best wins of the season. Gets them to 25-26 on the season. They're actually 10-5 in their last 15 games. They're game under 500 for what feels like the 5th time this year, and they haven't been back to 500 since the 4th game of the season. So they have a chance to, they have a very winnable series coming up against the Mets, where if they can take 2 of 3, they can get back to 500. And then they have a really tough homestand coming with the Yankees and Phillies coming to town. So huge. It's awesome for momentum. Like, it's very big for that. They had really good momentum going, and that you lose the first game of the series the way they did, and it can spiral on you if if they don't come back in these 2 games. And the fact that they won both of the games the way they did was just very impressive. It's showed some really good resolve and grit with the team. The bats are grinding out at bats right now. Matt Chapman had the series of the year from probably any player. Hit a home run, I think, in every game of the series. It seemed like each one was a big one. Lots of good things to say. The kids did a lot of good things this weekend. Ramos hit a home run today. Brett Wisely came through with a game-winning hit today. Didn't try and do too much, just blistered a ball back up the middle, which a lefty on lefty matchup against Aroldis Chapman, that's massive. So Luciano had a couple heads up base running plays there. Unfortunately, he booted a ball in the 9th for the second time in the series, which, really, to me, it doesn't change the way I feel. He should still be starting games every day at shortstop. It just shows how much value Nick Ahmed could have as a late inning defensive replacement on this team. Luis Matos he continued to play really well, had some nice big hits in this series. Yesterday in particular, had a probably arguably the most pivotal play of the game, where he made an aggressive turnaround first, saw that Reynolds kind of kicked the ball a little bit, and he took second. And that set up the Lamont Wade Jr. game-tying single in the 9th. Then had another big hit in the 10th to tack on an insurance run. Today, he got them, he got a hit against Skeens, and then he had kind of a rough day after that. Had almost his 3rd home run robbery, or I guess might have been 2nd, because I know one of the ones against LA wasn't probably leaving the yard, but had another home run robbery almost that the wall knocked it, caused a fumble, as Fleming said. And he still made a couple other really solid plays in the outfield today. Randy Rodriguez continues to show that he's kind of that dude, and he is filthy. He is so nasty out of the pen. I loved him in Sacramento. I love what he's doing in San Francisco right now. His fastball is absolutely explosive. I think with the ride he gets with that, it might even be better than Doval's fastball. And I know velocity wise, it's not necessarily, it doesn't. I think Doval has the higher, maximum velocity, but it just seems like he gets such great carry from that arm angle. And his slider is just it's gross, and guys are just flailing at it. He pitched 3 pivotal scoreless innings in the last 2 games. He showed that he very clearly should have been the guy in the 9th in the first game of the series, but you know what? He came up huge in the 2nd and 3rd games. So, hats off to him. I mean, there's too many guys to list. Lamont Wade Jr. had another massive series. Seemed like he was getting on base every time he was up. So kudos to him. Patrick Bailey had a big game yesterday. He struggled a bit today in his, one at bat, but he threw out a pivotal runner in the 9th, getting throwing Bay out at 2nd. He made a huge play there. I mean, you just got contributions up and down the lineup. Jorge Soler finally had a good day with the bat. Got the tying run in early, then had a big time double right off of the Chapman 3-run homer when they got within 1 with no outs, and Soler just immediately rips a double into right center. Just so many big moments in the last 2 days, and it's hard to give credit to everyone. Some negatives. Mason Black. I was really high on Mason Black, but his command has completely abandoned him. he was not struggling with his command this much in Sacramento. And I don't know if he's trying to pitch around guys or what, or he's just amped up, but he's been all over the map. And if he doesn't develop something that's got a little more downward movement, you can't just keep pitching up around the belt, all day long when you're throwing low 90s. And he was hitting 95 today, but that wasn't a good look. Eric Miller has struggled recently, but I genuinely hate going the opener route, especially with a guy like Eric Miller, who's not as experienced with that. And, you put him in an uncomfortable role. Same thing with Black. You took him out of what is in his comfort zone. And, I'm not trying to make excuses for guys. I'm just saying, like, you're setting guys up for failure when you're not using them in comfortable roles that they're accustomed to or experienced in. So it was a tough look. I don't like it, but you know what? They won the game at the end of the day. They figured it out and they got the dub. So, kind of what's next. They have Harrison going against the Mets. And then I believe they have Hicks and then Webb. So you've got 3 guys that, you feel good about going into that series. Hopefully they can keep the momentum going, just keep winning series. They're, right there as far as I'm not one to look at the playoff picture this early. I always just kind of have an idea of where they are, but the NL is terrible and they're right there in it. So, we'll see kind of what they do going forward and over the next month or so. The kids just keep playing really good ball. I can't stress it enough. Like, I don't think there's any way you can justify even thinking about putting Austin Slater back on this roster over Elliot Ramos. I think you lose all credibility if you make that move, because the kids have just absolutely infused so much energy into this roster and into this team. And imagine Farhan Zaidi or Bob Melvin trying to go up to a guy like Matt Chapman, who just had this big series, and he's clearly one of the team leaders. The way he plays the game, he's an obvious leader. And imagine going up to him and trying to convince him that you're trying to win, but at the same time making that move with what Ramos has done or what Matos has done or what, like, to me, you just lose all credibility in that case, because the players aren't idiots. They see what's going on. So, we'll see what happens. So you got guys coming back. Michael Conforto, I would imagine he's probably a little motivated to try and get back for this Mets series, because he missed the series in New York last season. And I'd imagine he would really like to, return to New York to play in that series. So, we'll see if he comes back soon. Slater, I know he's probably a little ways away. He's been eligible for a few days, but I know Zaidi said last week that he's, he wasn't quite there yet. So I'd imagine he's going to be out a little longer at least. Other than that, I mean, I don't have a whole ton to talk about on this one. We've kind of, to me, this was just kind of a quick reaction to this series, and we'll kind of see what comes next. I mean, this is easily, to me, this is the most exciting ball this team has played since 2021. I've said that a few times, and I truly feel that way. I mean, they're doing a lot of exciting, a lot of fun things right now, and it just, this ability to see these young homegrown guys go out there and play every day it's been a pleasant surprise that I didn't expect before the season to get this opportunity. It's something that I've been hoping for from this team. I have videos out there saying, play the kids, embrace it. And I didn't expect to actually get that opportunity early in the season. And what a pleasant surprise that we get to see it. And what a pleasant surprise that these young guys all showed up hungry and ready to contribute from day one. And, kudos to those guys. Hopefully it's a sign of things to come and they can keep it up. But I know I'm just enjoying watching all that. So tell me what you guys think. As always, we're coming up on 500 subscribers right now. So we're creeping on up. I said we're going to do the live show as soon as we get there. Dan and I are really excited to get to do the live shows. So we're hoping to do it, possibly next Thursday, or maybe even sooner if we get there in the next day or two. And I can work something out with him to get something this weekend. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. If you want to see yesterday's post game show with Dan and Eric, go over to their channel on NorCal Sports Network. It's always a fun time over there with them. So, go subscribe to their channel if you don't already. I appreciate all the support from you guys. And as always, go Giants.